Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning's devotion coming to you from Louisfontaine in the West Northern Cape. Yesterday, we were talking about David honoring the little people, and something that we should do is look for people who do little things in our lives and just give them the dignity and the respect that they deserve. But we move on into chapter 2 now, and the tragedy is very apparent. There's a lot of wars that go on around the world, some in the name of being justified by human rights and different sort of stuff that goes on. But most of them are fights of ego. Most of them are fights over pride and territory and I'm bigger and I'm better than you. But there is no war more tragic than a civil war, where there is brother against brother. And we see that around the world as well. Have a look at across in Europe right now, and we just see the tragedy of civil war. And I look around and I look into the smaller areas of life as well, and I see civil wars taking place on a much smaller scale, but they're still equally as tragic. When families go against families, when people in families go against people in the same family, it's awfully tragic. I see people fighting over money. Isn't that a tragic thing within families? When people die and there are inheritances to be had and there's money that is involved, and people will fight over that, and they forget that they are family. And I'm not saying that there are sometimes necessary fights or arguments that need to be settled, but I just find it in my heart tragic. I also find it really tragic when we look at the churches today and how easily we polarize one group against another over an issue that is in eternity will have no standing at all. We're not going to talk about those things in eternity. And yet we will find these small issues by human nature. We seem to do that pretty well. And we polarize, we build up a case, and we find people with opposite intentions or opposite thinking, and we end up at, in a sense, war with them. Now, there's no place for this in the church, people. There's no place for this. If we just keep the main thing, the rest will not matter that much. The trouble is we make the not so main thing the main thing, and we think that that's the main thing. That's not good at all. And I look at the time of David, and that very thing happened. When David became the king of Judah, another king, one of Saul's sons, became king of Israel. This is the way the tribes were. And they didn't like each other. Well, David was very amenable to talking and working together. But the son of Saul had a camp around him of the family of Saul, who had just died. And so we see here two very strong factions developing within the greater nation of the children of Israel. We have the tribes of Israel, the tribes of Judah, and they were at war with one another. Well, as God had ordained for it to happen, the tribe of Judah got stronger than the tribe of Israel because David was the anointed one. Now, I just picking up a broad principle here of polarizing people, of disagreeing over stupid things. If we could keep the vision of God, if we could keep the big thing, the main thing, the big thing, keep going that ahead, we would not fall into the trap of these silly little polarizing things that happen when we have these camps, this camp against that camp, and I like this music, you like that music, I'm this and you're not that. And we would, if we could just keep Jesus as the forefront of everything. He said this, he said, if I be lifted up, that means if I be number one, if I am the leading light in your church, if I be lifted up, I will draw all people to myself. When we're drawn towards the same cause or the same leader or the same person, naturally we will have personal disagreements with people behind us. But you know what, people, they don't matter. They don't matter at all. The unity of the body of Christ is so, so important. And when we think of how powerful that truth is and how Jesus wanted us to be one in him, unity is key to the church. When Jesus prayed for unity in the Garden of Gethsemane, he prayed for it. And I would assume that Jesus, if anybody got his prayer answered, Jesus would have got his prayer answered. And he prayed for unity. So I would like to declare to you today that we are united. We don't have to fight or try to be united. We already are united. We just have to behave like that. And I hope that our churches will gather together, keep the main thing, stop trivializing some of the other things that there are around us. And let's honor God in the unity of the Church of Jesus Christ. Now, I don't know who's going to hear this little message today, but man, it breaks my heart. If it breaks mine, I get it breaks God's heart when he sees civil war, in a sense, happening within the body of Christ. So let's do everything we're told to maintain the unity of the body. Let's do that the best we can. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.